Hello folks, I hope that you are having just one of the best days in your life that you've ever had today. Today I've got something very special for you. It's J.R.R. Tolkien's Roverandom. Roverandom was written by J.R.R. Tolkien as a children's story for his children. When he was in the 20s, they were on vacation, and him and his wife and their kid at the beach, and his kid lost his toy dog. So in order to entertain him, he tells the story about a dog who was turned into a toy by a wizard. And then after that happens, goes on many adventures wanting to get turned back. And that dog's name is Rover, which is the same name as Rover, the toy dog that was lost by his son. After that story, he wrote it down and read it to his children and that sort of a thing, and that's where it became. And so it was in his queue as something that he wrote but didn't submit to be published. After he published The Hobbit, he reached out to the same publisher about publishing this novel. That was rejected, and they said, "Hey, look, we'd like to get a sequel to The Hobbit instead." And he was, of course, at the time, he enjoyed Middle Earth. He enjoyed the stories. Getting a sequel to Middle Earth obviously wasn't something that was going to be any big issue with him, and so he never submitted Roverandom to publication to anybody else. So it was published posthumously. So the novel now exists. And after reading it last night, I spent about 3 days reading it because it's about 169 pages. So I read it in 40 pages each day. Well, 49 the middle day. It took me about an hour each day, roughly, a little bit less actually, and a little more in the middle day. So it's roughly around a little bit shy of a 3-hour read as a children's novel, which is a nice pace. You don't have to submit a lot of time to it. You can easily knock it out in a day. After reading it, its style reminds me more of George MacDonald and its fanciful thing, which I've been doing a lot of reviews of for the channel. And it's definitely something that I've never read in this sort of style of writing before. Even though both it and The Hobbit are children's books, their point of view, storytelling device, word choice, and that sort of thing are very different, which makes sense because he's writing this much earlier in his career in the 20s, and he publishes The Hobbit in 37. So this was written, almost more than a decade prior to The Hobbit. So it makes sense that the styles, the language, those sorts of things are different, and I enjoy this a lot. I've read a lot of J.R.R. Tolkien stuff outside of the Legendarium. Farmer Charles of Ham. I've just read The Smith of Wood Major, and I published that for her. Yeah, I read about this when doing some research on J.R.R. Tolkien, and so I decided to read it, and I did so. And I'm very happy that I did. And this is my favorite work by him that's outside of the Legendarium. And I like it more than The Adventures of Tom Bombadil, which is in the Legendarium. So it's better than some works in the Legendarium. I love this work a lot. I'm giving it an 9 out of 10. It's fun, it's easy, it's interesting. You're never bored, it goes places, it's beautifully written. And Tolkien is hitting it out of cylinders, and I think it's a wonderful children's book. And I wish that Tolkien hadn't just taken the one criticism from his one publisher that he was publishing with, and then had submitted it to other publishers, and to see what people would have thought about it at that time, contemporary with when he was being popular and being published and that sort of thing. So I would have been interested to see what that would have been like and how well it would have been received, or not, by the public at that time. But anyway, that's Roverandom for you. I'll go ahead and leave you there. Have you read it? If not, have you ever heard of it? If you have read it, what did you think of it? I would be more than happy to engage you with this novel for children in the comments below. If you like this, please feel encouraged to hit that subscribe button, because there'll be a lot more videos following fantasy like this one, science fiction, and horror. And then, hey, I want to thank you so much for taking some time out of your day and investing it and watching my video. We all have so many things that are happening in our lives, and we're pulled in so many different directions. So the fact you spent this time with me is incredibly humbling. and I appreciate it. So thanks again, and have a great day.